All right, round two. Let me see if this works. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties due to StreamYard updating their systems to absolute trash. Hopefully this is better. 1 second. Yes, we are back. There we go. Ugh, that was frustrating. Let me just make sure everything works. Hold on, let me see if the screen share works. Yes, okay, we're back. Okay. All right, let's get back to it. Sorry about that, guys. As you can see, I am not the best solving technical difficulties live as they happen. Wasn't expecting that, but we're going to move forward. Yeah, it's like crazy stuff, man. Fingers crossed that the ETF caused significant price surge. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what a lot of people are hoping. So like, I don't know, when I talk to XRP holders about ETFs, I can tell you that there's a few groups of people. Okay. There's one group of people who want the price to go, wherever it's going to go very quickly, right? And then there's another group of people who want the price to stay relatively cheap so they can keep buying, right? There's, depending on what your economic status is, like how much money that you have and how long ago that you found out about crypto and XRP, like if you just started your journey, chances are you don't have a lot of XRP. And I know that there's an urge to try to do something very quickly. And, I feel like it's a lot of pressure on somebody new to the space that kind of doesn't quite understand everything to jump in, right? Because I know over the last few, maybe 2 weeks, people that that are in my life that I talk to about crypto, that are not in crypto, all of a sudden wanted to buy some XRP, right? And maybe that's because they have a good source of information about XRP like right in front of them. But no, I think these people are starting to understand that crypto is going to be widely adopted, widely used, and very important in the days to come. And I think they're coming to terms with that. So we'll see how it goes. But Tom, yeah, thanks for telling me. So StreamYard recommended that I go with this portrait and landscape, and that's why I look like that. And so it's just all good. Is the government now open? I think they're taking a vote to reopen it today. It's Wednesday. Yeah, it should starting to be there. I think it was 8 people crossed to vote. They got 60 votes. I think they're waiting on something with the House to reopen. But yeah, it is supposed to be reopening. Attila, thanks for coming back. Let's see here. Sean Marsh says people expect that the ETF are going to sky it right away. It takes time, a few months. Yeah, I probably agree with you. It's not going to be instant. Like you might see a price surge, right? But just like you just saw Solana ETFs launch, and that did 370 million in the first few weeks. And so, there are people that speculate it could be more for XRP, but that's just speculation. We'll find out. We're about to find out, right? All the speculation, all the rumor, all of the, backroom whispers, we're about to find out what's really going to happen. And I think, we'll go through this together, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, we'll go through it together and we'll, we'll stay educated on it. Yes, I'm back to my original size. Oh man. Objects in mirror are what? Closer than they appear? Hey, Nicole, great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Game of Cats. There are Crypto Sensei lives right now. Did the broadcast? But yeah, so hold on. Let me delete that. So it was a messed up broadcast. Sorry about that. YouTube Studio. Let me just delete this real quick. So I don't want to confuse people. Content, live stream. Let me just delete this from existence because it was pretty painful. Delete forever. Okay, there we go. Now people won't be confused. Let's see here. Lonnie says, I'm okay with a small surge, $3 to $4 in the short term. All right, Lonnie, appreciate you sharing that. Noe, great to see you, Noe. Noe from Nampa. Great to see you. Dean April here. Dean says, I think the Clarity Act will full send crypto. So yes and no, Dean. You're absolutely right that the Clarity Act is going to provide the clear guidance and the rules that institutions, financial institutions have been waiting for, right? What are the do's and the don'ts? What can and can't they do? The issue, well, maybe it's not an issue, but it's an issue. The time it's going to take to do all that rulemaking. Okay, so I'll give you an example that I've been mentioned a lot of different times here. Two examples. One is crypto related. One is not. So when the financial crisis happened back in 2008 here in the United States, Congress got together and said, we got to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And they created something called the Dodd-Frank Act. And the Dodd-Frank Act was, this bill that was, I don't even know how many pages it is, but just enormous, over 1,000 pages. And the rulemaking for the Dodd-Frank Act actually took over 3 years to implement, right? Because once Trump signs it into law, then the SEC and the CFTC and the regulators get together and they have to set up they have to do the rulemaking. And that process can take some time. And so if you look at what Europe did, passing MiCA, right? They passed that in April 23, didn't go into effect until end of 24. So it's going to take some time to do all this rulemaking stuff. I don't know how much time, but it will take some time. Like I think once regulations signed in, I think the FOMO will be very quick. Like I think things will pump, but I think then it'll calm back down. And then as this process takes some time, EBT coin, that's tough. Do you have the decent wallet link for a viewer? Oh man, I would have to. I'd have to find it. Yeah, I can get it. Let me see. Decent. I'm in all of my content, so I should be able to find it here. As I say that. Hold on. Yes, I got it all right here. Actually, here. Let me. I don't know if I can post this though. I think it's too long. I guess I can post it. There you go. Hold on. Let me just do it one at a time here. So there, like if you just like use one of these links, I'm sure that you can get there. I appreciate your support though. That's really nice of you. Man, Ledger sent me all of these new wallets. I got to dig through them. They're actually pretty cool. I'm going to be taking a look at these very soon. Let's see here. Vadim says, quick question. Members only videos. Are you going to allow access to everyone after a certain time has passed? So Vadim, like, just so we're clear, I think YouTube, what they do is they want to get like, YouTube automatically puts out stuff that's like year old or 2 years old to like, I don't know, like we're not telling YouTube to do that, but I think they do it as part of like them trying to, help their creators. Okay. So there is some content that only goes out to members, right? There is some content that goes out early to members, but most content does get released to the public. Yes. There's a few things that we try to just push towards the people supporting the channel financially for like $5 or $10. But like 99% of content gets released for free. Thank you for the question. Yeah, don't like when YouTube's trying to get you with the 1 year stuff, like I apologize. I don't know how to stop that. It's just kind of like when they play ads, we have no control over what ads they play. Let's see here. Attila says, if the next escrow unlock won't be enough for demand, is it possible to create an extra surge in price? So I think we're talking about two different things here, right? You're talking about escrowed XRP, which is what Ripple has that control of the escrow, right? And so every month $1 billion gets unlocked. And usually we see anywhere from 60 to 70% being re-locked up in 2025. Now, the ETF supply will be the available XRP on exchanges. Now, I haven't seen any deals. And I mean, I'm sure all of this is like private and NDAs, but I haven't seen any deals specifically relating to escrowed XRP and ETFs. So I don't know if Canary Capital has a contract with Ripple for, let's say, 10 million XRP per month to be out of escrow, right? We did hear from David Schwartz that it is possible for Ripple to not only sell the wallets or sell access to that XRP early, but you can't unlock it early. So we're going to get more information as the days go on here. But if somehow they keep blowing past, part of me doesn't think Ripple wants to be involved with the ETF companies and that XRP. I think that they're trying to manage that the best they can. And I think like Ripple would rather have those institutions buying XRP off the open market because that's going to bring up the price. If Ripple was just selling everything out of escrow at a discount, that really doesn't benefit Ripple, right? It doesn't benefit the XRP community either. And so you got to understand that like if Ripple is doing that and the XRP community finds out, that could be a moment of tension between the community and Ripple. And I don't know if that's what they're looking to do. So we'll see what happens there. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking it, Attila. Yes, Solana spot price is down 27% on the year despite the ETF. So but the short-term price action for Solana really doesn't have to do with the ETF. It really has to do with the market in general. Solana's price is down right now because of the information and the lack thereof information coming out of the US right now, right? And people are worried, is this going to be a recession? Are we fine? Right? All of these people didn't get benefits, and like there's a lot of like tension and a lot of concern. Now, some of that tension and concern is being addressed. Some of it still hasn't, and it feels like they've just kicked the can down the road. But I think overall, the ETF is going to greatly benefit Solana. I think that is going to help supercharge Solana to 500, 600, and then of course 4 digits eventually here. So you're absolutely right. The price is down, but there's still a lot of money flowing into it, right? And you start to wonder, where would Solana's price be without the money that's going into the ETF right now? It would be down even more, wouldn't it? Let's see here. So the offshore fishing channel says, can we discuss Swift being 15% down on transactional volume in the last 4 months? This is big news. So I think you're seeing, the adoption of blockchain technology, whether that's through stable coins or that's through, XRP, or that's through whatever else, right? Ethereum or Chainlink or Solana, whatever it is, more and more institutions are finding alternative avenues than Swift. Like that. Why do you think Swift's financial officer or the innovation officer is out there attacking XRP community members? Like, why? Doesn't this guy have something better to do? Right? They obviously they are worried, and they think partnering with Consensus and Linea is going to solve all their problems. I think their problems are just getting started, right? And just like with any technology, time, age, new innovation, those are all things that we're seeing right now. Will that, what we know as Swift today, will it still be around in 10, 20 years? I don't know. It's hard to say. But I think the idea of these, I think Swift has a lot to be worried about, right? How quickly all of that plays through, I don't know. But obviously institutions are finding new ways to move money, and that's without Swift. Joe, I think we did post the decent wallet. I'll post it again for you, Joe. Here you go, my man. And you can email me too, Joe, if you need some like direct help. I'd be happy to email that to you. But just my email's in the description of this video. Okay, bud? Thank you. I got somebody checking in from Michigan. Man, is it cold? It's probably cold there. November time in Michigan. Great to have you here. I think is it Steve or Stevk? That's a hard word. Stevk. Nice to see you, man. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, there's so many comments. Let me see. Hello, I'm watching you from France, and I find you truly talented. I wish you continued success. I hope your channel grows and you reach the success you deserve. Beautiful soul with love and respect. That was so nice. JR saw, thank you from the bottom of my heart. That was very beautiful. You know, this is the reason I wake up every day, and I'm so committed to you know, learning this with you guys and experiencing with you guys. And you know, it's been a journey for me, and it's an absolute honor. So thank you so much for the kind words, and I wish you the best too. Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm gonna take a picture of that. That was really nice. Some people are just the hearts and souls. Oh my goodness, man. People are just so good in general. Do you think the price will be suppressed with whale selling? So that's a great question, Mike. That's a great question, right? So like this is something that I brought up a few times here, right? So with ETFs, right, you have this market cap multiplier. The market cap multiplier is so much because limited supply availability on exchanges, yada, yada, yada. You know, retail only owns a few billion XRP. How much? Like, it's hard to say whether it's 2 or 3 billion, somewhere in that area. Ripple owns 42, 43 billion XRP, and the rest is, you know, owned by institutions, right? Or private players that are extremely well off. What happens? Like, what are those price targets for those institutions? What are those price targets for those whales? What are those price targets for you know, those, whatever you want to call those people, the private sellers, whales, whatever it is? That's the hard part here, right? Because regular retail people that own like 1,000 XRP or 5,000 XRP, 10,000 XRP, those people are the backbone of the XRP community, right? There are tens of thousands, maybe even more of those specific people. Now, a $10 XRP, owning 10,000 XRP and having it $10, it's 100 grand, right? 100 grand is a lot of money, but that's not really what most people are here for, right? Most people understand that they are making a bet on technology, and that bet is hopefully their retirement, right? Like the rest of the money for the rest of their lives. So, you know, people like that are going to be waiting for a 500 or 1,000 or a $10,000. Like, that is what those people will specifically be waiting for. But the whales who own, you know, hundreds of millions or millions of XRP, those people don't need the price to go as high for them to have a lot more money. And what will be those price targets? That is one of the most misunderstood that's what I keep asking. What are going to be those targets, right? And like, will those people start to flood the market with XRP once it reaches a certain level? Once it reaches the $25, once it reaches the $50, once it reaches the $100 mark, right? Will that flood the market and cause the price to go down? That is the question of the century, man, Mike. And I'm glad you brought it up. I wish I had a great answer for you, man. But you know, that's a real tough one, man. Like, if I had 3 wishes from a genie, it might be to better understand that schedule, you know? Sveta, I was having trouble. Yes. Trouble is an understatement. It was bad. I guess StreamYard upgraded their system, and I don't know. Not my forte, man. Not my forte. Lonnie, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here, dude. I hope you're learning. I hope you're growing. I hope you're having some fun with the content. Like, that's the whole idea, man. You know, learn, grow, you know, maybe a few laughs here and there. That's the beauty, man. That's the beauty. Let's see here. One Atlanta says, good to see that there's still people out there that remember where you came from. Always got to remember where you came from, man. That's basically kind of who you are as a person, and you know, who you want to be. Very important, man. Thank you for sharing. Let's see here. So James Gerard, that's a pretty cool name, says, so if the reset happens and we all become rich, but what goes up must come down and everything crashes, how will you protect yourself financially? So markets do go up and down, right? But I think if you look at just any market over the last 100 years, you get these, peaks, and you get these peaks and valleys, right? The market will surge higher. Something, an economic catastrophe will happen in some kind of way. Black swan event. Nobody foresaw. Markets react, right? They go back down, and then maybe it takes a few weeks, few months, few years. Markets often recover, right? Timing the market perfectly, there's only so many people in the world that can do that to precise precision. If and when XRP reaches this utility point, whether that's $500, $1,000, or 10,000, or I think I've seen more and more Jake Claver clips now talking about $50,000, $100,000 XRP by 2030, right? Like I just played one like yesterday. So I think there will be a point where XRP reaches, and I don't think it's going to go from like $1,000 back down to like $10, right? I think if it goes to $1,000, maybe it goes down to 600, 550, but I don't think it collapses all the way back down like 98%. So, what does that look like? I don't know, James. How am I going to protect myself financially? I think once XRP reaches a certain point, I'd probably cash out a certain amount of money. Just sell. I know people are like, don't sell your XRP, go get loans, all these things. Great. This is what I have in my mind. I only need so much money to live, right? And I have some things that I kind of want to buy, right? So I would probably, this is me getting ready to sell my XRP. I would sell maybe 5% of my XRP, take that amount of money, go do what I need to do. The rest of it, I'm gonna let it grow, right? Maybe that turns into 8%, maybe that turns into 3%. I don't know. But that's always kind of been what I've been okay with, right? And then of course keeping the rest for, hopefully never selling it. But I don't know, James, do you have some ideas of how to protect yourself? I'm not like a financial advisor. So I really couldn't give you any information on like how you protect your assets and what you should do here, what you should do here. Like there are other people that are much, qualified to do that. I'm just, if you need information, you need a good laugh, you want to go back and forth about something, I'm your guy. When it talks about like your financial well-being, you probably should seek some help for that. Joe, thank you, big guy, for all the legwork and info. Joe, it's a pleasure, my friend. Let's see here. Good night. An XRP ETF launching tomorrow. Does it feel like Christmas? Like, that feeling when you were a kid, the day before Christmas, when you're like, hopefully there's no kids listening, but like before you realize that, Santa was your parents, and like you thought that this, it's okay. You thought that this, jolly man would come down your fire escape or whatever, your chimney, and deliver all these presents. Like that level of excitement. That's kind of what I feel right now. I don't know if it's going to be a good Christmas. I don't know if it's going to be a bad Christmas, but it'll be Christmas. So I don't know. It'll be exciting. We'll be here together. I'm Luna. Chill. Sorry about that. Hopefully it's somebody at my door. Come on. Sorry about that. Luna gets excited when she hears people outside. So Leonardo says, I have 666 XRP right now. Tonight I'll buy more, trying to reach 1,000 with my budget. Leonardo, man, that's great. What's with the 666? Was that just like just a random occurrence, or is that number does that number mean something to you? I don't know. That 666 it's just a strange number. Usually people go for like 660, 670, 665, but hey man, you keep going, man. I too, like the last 2 days, I've put a decent amount of money buying more XRP. Last 2 days, I've bought about $25,000 worth of XRP additional. last 2 days. So I'm trying to buy as much as I can too, man. I'm hoping. Christopher Robert, he says 2026 will be huge, $7 to $10. So I think Christopher here is on the kind of like, there's a lot of people that think nothing will happen. There's some people that'll think the price will 2 or 3x. Christopher Roberts right in that 2 to 3x area, maybe like 2 to 4x. Sebastian Sensei, how bad do you think FOMO is going to be in the years coming? So like this is the thing, right? And I think a lot of people miss this point. And I know that this is probably not what everybody wants to hear, but like, we are still early. Like I know when people say that, you're like, what does that mean, right? It means that when it comes to tokenization, right, where a lot of this value is going to come from. When it comes to tokenization, we are not even at a 0.25% or 1/10% of assets tokenized, whether that's stocks, bonds, derivatives, real estate, debt, lending. We're not even at a 1%. We're not even anywhere at this point, right? And so to assume that the prices are going to just explode out of thin air without this money yet being on chain, I think is people are looking at this the wrong way. Now, part of it is tokenization. Part of it is regulation, updating rules and laws. When you sell something, how does it work on, in the real world and blockchain? Like there's all of these things that regulators are still trying to figure out. There's all of these things that governments are trying to figure out. But we are still not at a point where I can safely tell you that all of these assets are coming on chain right now. I still think this is going to be some time. When I listen to all of that swell content, Ripple swell content, I can tell you what I heard over and over again was blockchain is the future infrastructure for financial institutions, over and over again. Like when you have the leaders from BlackRock and Citibank and Franklin Templeton and Securitize and all of these different places, when you have all of them telling you the same thing, you should probably listen, right? These people are not in the business to get up there and lie to the public and lie to their customers. And I think these people really understand the technology and innovation that's happening behind the scenes on their financial institutions. And, we are going to get this big shift. When does that shift happen? How quickly does that shift happen? I think that is still to be debated. I was listening to this clip from Jake. He says he believes that over 85% of all assets will be tokenized by 2030, right? Is that going to happen? I don't know. I think the highest estimates I've seen from tokenized value by 2030 is like 30 trillion. And so to say we'll have hundreds of trillions on chain by that time instead of 30 trillion, will that happen? I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. Tom here for Luna for treats. You following Flare? Tukrim is going for Flare ETF thoughts. So Tukrim is a very small company. Like I interviewed Sal. Like I was one of the first channels to interview Sal, right? They're a very, very small firm. Like when you compare it to your Franklin Templetons of the world, right? Or your Wisdom Trees. I think what they're doing for the space is great. I think it is shining a light on their company. Remember, they were before this, they were doing like corn ETFs and our agricultural products. And they've seen a huge sudden shift in demand for crypto products. And I think they're trying to shift the business away from the agricultural products because let's face it, a lot of the agriculture in this country is kind of dead right now, right? Because of all of these things that are going on over the past few years in farming. So I think they needed a new source of business, and I think this is the way to do that. Now, on a second note here, Flare ETF. I think you're going to see a lot of ETF products. I think you're going to see more ETF products than you probably want to see. There's going to be hundreds. There's probably going to be thousands. Doesn't mean that all of them are going to be successful. Now, I think the success of the ETF will depend on the success of Flare. And if Flare is hugely successful, the ETF will be successful. But I just got to remember Tukrim itself is a very, very small company. I think they only have less than 20 people working for them. It's like a mom and pop company, small. Jacques, Mr. Prescott. Let me just say Mr. Prescott, because Jax, is it Jocks? I can't say it. All right, Master Sensei, do you know if the coming XRP ETFs will hold 100% XRP or will it be some kind of percentage? So from what I understand is, yes, 100% XRP. Now, there might be some different products that hold certain amount of XRP and a certain amount of this. Like there's going to be different indexes and different funds and different groups, but the spot XRP ETFs specifically should hold XRP. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll share some information on that shortly. I'm just trying to get through some of these questions here. So a lot of people say open. A lot of people over say 100,000 say open on LLC. What Atlantis, there's multiple things that you can do here. I'm working to bring some type of financial advisor in so we can ask some of these questions to help people better understand. But yeah, if you have a sizable portfolio, a few different layers that I've heard people talk about of protection are LLCs. Man, there's some donations here too. I'm just stealing Tom's crown now that he came to donate, Curtis. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Great to see you. Not so quick, Curtis. Okay. All right, man. It's okay. I see you guys. You guys are fun. Oh, AK Scarface took it. Sensei, in Monday's live with Claver, he talks about how they could make a law that would take away retail's ability to have XRP to get value from it and make it strictly for institutional use only. I think Jake finds ways to get views, right? And this is probably one of those ways. If you'd like me to follow up on this and do some due diligence on it, I will absolutely do that. Let me take a picture of what you're saying here, and I'll dig into it. I'll get into it. Jake could do a masterclass session on saying something that turns people's heads. He's got a great team behind him that gives him some of these ideas, and I'm sure a lot of this stuff is his own thoughts too. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say, man. Is there a world where the government tries to take everything that you have? Yes. Is it gonna happen? I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. When they say you will own nothing and be happy, when you are talking about some type of great reset, people could lose everything, right? And the government could decide to do something. Now, like, my thing is this: if the government says, we're gonna take this, we're gonna confiscate this from you, what does that say though about that government, right? It's like, you got to understand, when it comes to governments and trade and all of this stuff, the whole world is built on trust. And when you start doing things like this, you become untrustworthy. And I don't know, I don't know what to kind of tell you here, but like, when you are a government that becomes untrustworthy, worse things are going to start happening, right? And I don't imagine a scenario where the government is going to take your XRP, right? Because then if they could do that, they could confiscate anything, right? They could go in and confiscate anything. Why XRP? Why not Bitcoin, right? Why not Ethereum, right? The thing people don't realize here is the government doesn't own the XRP ledger. The government cannot buy the XRP ledger. The government could go buy XRP and be a holder, but that's it, right? You cannot confiscate a decentralized network, right? There's going to be people out there that will not give up their tokens, right? And this goes back to, what if the government's going to buy back your XRP at 10,000? Okay, right? The government's going to print, 50 trillion, $100 trillion to buy your XRP. I don't know, man. I think we're getting into the fantasy realm here instead of the reality. But if it gets clicks and views, then he's gonna say and do it. But I don't know, man. I'm not worried about that. I don't go to sleep worried about the government taking my XRP. Like, I figure they probably go after Ethereum first. Like, if you think about it, Ethereum's the larger network, more liquidity, and people say that the future is built out on Ethereum, right? More so than the XRP ledger. That's what people say. So, like, why would they target XRP and not Ethereum first? I don't know. Let's see here. Gary says, you commented on this a while back, but how many wallets have over 5K XRP? That's a great question. Let me see here. XRP rich list. Let's find out, my man. Let's do this together, huh? That is not where I wanted to go. Let's see here. This is also not where I want to go. Let me go to Twitter. Somebody somewhere is going to have something here. Let's see. XRP rich list. Here you go. November 10th. This is pretty updated. So here is the distribution, Gary. Thank you for asking the question. So you wanted to know specifically about how many wallets have 5,000 XRP. So we look here at 5,000. So this is really in between the top 10 and 5%. If you get 8,000 XRP right now, you are in the top 5% of XRP holders, and there's 362,000 accounts that have this much XRP. And then, of course, if you have 10,000 XRP, you're in the top 4. If you have 50,000 XRP, you're in the top 1%. And of course, if you have 100,000, 200,000 XRP, you're in the top 2%, top 0.2%. And then if you have over 4.6 million XRP, you're in 0.01%, and you're 724 people in the world that are like you. All right. Hope that helped you, Gary. I don't know, guys. Like, I mean, if he's going to say, like, it's not like a diss or something, but like, what do you want me to do? Like, I can't address it. Like, if I'm addressing something that he said, I have to address him by name. Right. And he knows the stuff that he says is outlandish, and he does it for a reason. Like, he's pushing people into his products. He does that with views and clicks, and he gets the interviews, and like, that's great, and he does a lot for the space. And I'm looking forward to his fund helping people and turning a profit sometime. And I'm looking forward to, maybe some of his predictions coming true. But I don't know. We're not like best friends. And I think there's only so many people in the XRP space that have a large enough audience to kind of challenge some things that he says or talk about it and bring it down to a level, right? Because like, if I'm out here talking about the same things that Jake is and promising people $1,000 XRP in a month and a half, like, it really does not set a good standard for learning and education in the XRP space, because like the top biggest accounts are telling everybody that in 2 months, they can quit their jobs and they can, they're all going to be extremely rich. I have a different view. I don't think the world, the bond market explodes in the next 2 months. Are there cracks in the system? Are there issues? Absolutely. Is every system, does it last forever? No. Is there a real possibility that stuff could hit the fan here soon? Absolutely. But is all of these things going to play out in the next 2 months? I don't know, man. I just don't think so. I just don't think so. Jake the Rake. I don't know, man. Let's see here. Sam says, Sensei, have you heard about the UK possibly imposing a 10K max crypto asset portfolio? I have seen some things from the UK. They are worried about their banking system. The British pound is a lot smaller currency than, let's say, the US dollar. And governments are specifically worried about their currency basically going extinct. And usually they're going to take steps to prevent that. And that's why you're seeing like there's only so much money can go into stable coins, and there's only so much money that maybe could be held in crypto. Now, I think I can understand the stable coin part of it, because you want to keep pounds or whatever in the system, right? You want those pounds in banks, right? Because banks are already starting to lose market share from different DeFi protocols. How are they going to do that? What is going to be the happy medium? I don't know. But I can tell you they're worried. They're absolutely worried. See here, Harry Q says, Sensei, what would happen if Bitcoin was discovered to have been created by a nefarious terrorist organization? I think you can answer your own question, Harry, here, right? If tomorrow, like, it doesn't even need to be that, right? It doesn't even need to be a nefarious organization. But what if tomorrow you now know who created it? The problem with that is, one way or another, you're either going to like or you're not going to like the answer, right? And that is going to create fear in the market. And with that fear comes what's called the whole mystique around Bitcoin is, Satoshi created this, the libertarian view. We don't need governments. We can manage our own money. Like, that would all be gone, right? Because now you could say, well, this person's not a libertarian. This person, does this, and this, right? And so that alone, I don't think it makes it. I think if you find out who created Bitcoin, that would be a real problem. And of course, if the Satoshi wallet ever starts to move or sell Bitcoin, it would be a fire sale. It would be pandemonium. You've never seen something drop so fast, right? Because even the movement of just a little bit, you're talking about over $100 billion in liquidity that could be gone instantly, right? I don't know where you'd find the liquidity to sell that much extra Bitcoin, but you see what I'm saying, right? It would be very scary. Financial institutions would be first, or any type of governments that are holding Bitcoin, they would be first. Then the institutions, and then retail would find out. Like, as the market is collapsing, retail would find out, and it would be a very bad day for the crypto market. Sensei, do you think Bitcoin holders would sell their Bitcoin when they saw XRP explode? I think there's some people that have already come around to XRP. Like, I think there's some people that are Bitcoin maximalists that have fought against the XRP community for years, but they're starting to see the partnerships, they're starting to see the adoption, they're starting to see the growth. And these people are here to make money, right? Yes, they have certain views and they feel a certain way, but I think they're here because they want to make money. And if they see an opportunity to make money through XRP, they'll do it. They will do it. Now, there's going to be some people that will not cross that line no matter what. And that's just in life. Everybody has their own boundaries of what they're willing to do and what they're not willing to do. And, every person is going to be different, right? But I do think more and more people are waking up to the idea that XRP has more use case than people originally thought it did. Let's see here. PB&J, love the name. Do you believe XRP is the 2.0 of Bitcoin, and that the upgrade to fix all Bitcoin shortfalls? So I think that is what David Schwartz, Arthur Brito, and Jed McCaleb set out to do, was create a better network. I think they saw the flaws in proof of work, and it really doesn't scale to the ability that you needed to be a global payment network. And I do think XRP was created on the idea of wanting something better, creating something better. Absolutely. I can get down with that. Oh, Harry Q's got part 2. Wouldn't that help cryptos like XRP that are very open? Oh, I'd have to go back to your part 1, Harry. What was your part 1? Sorry, there's so many questions and my brain goes 1,000 directions and it's hard to remember every single thing somebody says. I do apologize, my man. Yeah, see, like, this is something that like if you found out the NSA created Bitcoin, like that Bitcoin network would be worth nothing. In a day, you would never see a collapse so quick. And that's, you know, that's what some people fear. But, you know, what are you going to do? The only thing we could do is find out who actually created it, right? Now I really want to know. I mean, Scottie Pippen knows, right? Scottie Pippen said he met Satoshi. James, what's up, James? Thank you for your insight, your passion for doing for the passion for the doing the knowledge. If you're ever in Las Vegas, I want to buy you a drink. Salute, James. Well, now that you say that, James, I'm gonna put you down in my little handbook here. Next time I'm in Vegas, man, we're gonna get a drink together and we're gonna talk about some crypto. Here, you know what? I want to show you something. Let's see. Do I have the video? Hold on. There was a video that I saw recently. I might have closed it though. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. I was talking to you about this earlier. Hold on. Okay, hold on. No, that's not it. There was a clip where he's talking about. No. There was a clip where he's. Jake was talking about tokenization 2030. Let me see here if I can find the clip. Oh, yeah, here you go. Listen to this. Listen to this. Here you go. So this is Jake Claver's price prediction for 2030 for XRP. Check it out.
The 5-year conservative price prediction for XRP. Well, that's 2030. At that point, 80 to 85% of all real world assets will be tokenized on chain is my conservative estimate. It could be more. And if that's the case, you're looking at easily a $50,000 to $100,000 XRP with derivatives. I know that sounds crazy. You can call me whatever you want. I've watched Bitcoin go from, what it was 15 years ago to what it is today. And I think XRP will move at a much faster pace than that.
Guys, it is going to be easy. It's going to be easy. 50,000 to 100,000 minimum by 2030. Like that's the stuff I'm working with every day here in the space. Like, help me out, man. Help me out. Ay. See, like when you do the research on this, though, like I haven't found any financial institution ever that has said, let me see here. Let me break this down here because I was looking at this yesterday. Hold on, Luna. Hold on. Here you go. Check this out. The value projected to be tokenized by 2030 varies greatly depending on the institution and the research group making the estimate. The highest figures published by major firms and blockchain entities is 30 trillion by 2030, right? He's talking about almost all the money, right? All the money. And so the highest thing comes from Standard Charter, who forecast 30 trillion. Boston Consulting Group says 16 trillion. Even Ripple and Boston Consulting Group reached a number of 18.9 trillion by 2033. So like either each one of these financial institutions is lying to us or something else is wrong, right? Like this is where I start to have some issues. Over 85% of all assets tokenized in the next 4 years. You would need some type of financial collapse and a reset, and everything is just issued on blockchain for that to happen, right? I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, if you have 1,000 XRP and it's $50,000, you have $50 million. You have 10,000 XRP, you have 500 million. If you have 20,000 XRP, you're a billionaire, right? And if you have a billion XRP, what are you, like a quadrillionaire? I don't know. Like, think about it. If XRP was $100,000 per token, do you know what the market cap of XRP would be? Well, let me find out. Let's just take a look. So we're talking about $3 to $6 quadrillion for a market cap for XRP. 3 to 6 quadrillion. I don't know, man. Like, this is my thing, right? Does he do it for views and clicks? Because he's a very smart guy. He's a very smart guy, right? Why would he tell people that the market cap's going to be $3 quadrillion in 4 years? It's just mind blowing to me. Like that. That's like that. When I question certain things that are said, that's the reason. Like I listen. I'm rooting for it. I want to see it, but like realistically, like we gotta just take a deep breath and come to terms here, right? Like you were saying that the entire world's financial system will be through the XRP ledger. The XRP ledger will run the entire world's financial system. I want that to be true, but like I don't know, man. That's it. I just hard for me to have a serious conversation like this. Tom says, do you think crypto will settle down or volatility over the next year or two, like the stock market, less the bear market drops? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like it's going to take liquidity. It's going to take the different products and the ETFs to kind of help balance out the market, but absolutely. As more value comes in, it'll stabilize. It'll stabilize, Tom. Yeah, man. I've never seen the Northern Lights. I've seen it in like TV shows, but it's not the same, right? How will it affect his legacy? I don't know, man. If he's right, I mean, he'll be the smartest person in the world, right? In the XRP space. If he's wrong, I don't think most people are going to care at that point. I don't know. I do know I get the most questions about his price predictions, though. And that's why I try to address it, because with the emails and the text messages, and when I have like my like my close friends and family asking me about the clips, I just kind of I get a little I don't know. I think it builds a lot of hope. And I don't know. I don't know. Is it $100 now? So it's no longer $750? That's crazy. Okay. We've shifted. We've gone, because I think it was 750, and then it was like 1,000, then it was like 2,000 by early 2026, and now we're down to 100. That's some crazy whiplash. That is some crazy whiplash. That's crazy, man. 10 million by tomorrow. Nicole's got it. I believe Nicole over Jake at this point. So if Nicole says it's 10 million by tomorrow, Nicole, I'm going with Nicole. His bet was for 750. Yeah. Listen, guys, you got to understand, like, all of it is marketing. It's all by design. The bet, the quotes, everything is designed to push you into his stuff. Like, if you watch his videos, all of his videos are designed to push you into his products. It's brilliant, but it's just not something that I'm, I don't, it's impressive. He's got a great team. Great, but like, I don't know, man. Something's off. Something's weird there. I feel like one day we're going to wake up and like it's going to be all over the news. Someone's going to say something, the beans are going to spill, and then it'll all make sense, right? I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. Crash coming. Crash is coming. You could be right. Yeah, he is betting on the carry trade unwinding. Let's see here. Sam says, guys, sensei, let's take a minute. Just imagine it actually does hit 750 before the end of the year. We are building X-shaped hot tubs. Dude, like if that's the case, man, we will have one of the sickest parties in the world. Is an X? I was thinking, is an X-shaped hot tub the best idea? You can't really do much in an X-shaped hot tub. Oh my goodness, you guys are fun. Yeah, I think it's listen. I think it's fun to listen to. I think it's good to talk about. But like, we just got to understand that some of the things that are being said are just so outlandish and so crazy when you look at the actual facts behind it. So just, it's entertainment. It's entertainment, right? And it just make sure it doesn't cross that line in your head, right? It's like when someone tells you that they've figured out how to win the lottery, like they know how to get the numbers for the lottery. It's like something so unbelievable that you should probably just be cautious when you listen to it, right? All right. There's a few things I want to get to in today's. I know we're answering a lot of questions, we're talking, but I want to show you a few things here. Did you guys see this? Did you guys see that UK's Economic Secretary Treasury, Lucy Rigby, is at Ripple Singapore office to discuss how digital assets can boost UK's competitiveness and growth? That's pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. He does say it's for entertainment purposes only, but then he does say he's dead serious. He does say it's going to happen. He does say, what's it called, right? All right. This was also interesting too. JP Morgan and Base. JP Morgan clients can now swap JPMD and USDC on Base. More centralized systems coming together. Visa catching up for business payments. Businesses can now send stablecoin payments directly from their regular fiat accounts. No crypto exchange needed. Did you see this? Oh my goodness. Charles Hodgkinson basically admitting some crazy stuff here. He says, I wonder why David Sachs, well, here's the clip. It says, I wonder why David Sachs would be upset that Trump's X post mentioned other assets outside of Bitcoin. Let me play this.
Exclude you from the roundtable meeting earlier this year. You think that, well, first, I didn't donate enough. Second, I tweeted something about XRP donating to Trump, and I used that as the official excuse. Third, there was he tweeted about ADA being in the reserve, and Sachs wasn't aware of it because he only thought it was going to be Bitcoin. So he retaliated and disinvited as many people as he could for that. So yeah, there's just welcome to White House politics. Left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. It's not about merit for these types of things. It's about connections and patronage. Look, it is what it is.
The crazy part here is everybody around the president, from the Bo Hines of the worlds, the David Sachs of the worlds, the Senator Loomises of the worlds, they're all pushing Bitcoin because they all own Bitcoin. Their companies and their families are all involved with it. The lobbyists for Bitcoin are pushing them to just focus on Bitcoin. And I think that's kind of scary, right? There's a big con job happening right now, people closest to the president when it comes to Bitcoin. And I think they are feeding him some of the wrong information about the crypto space. They need to be giving him information about supporting American innovation and not just making a few more people even more rich. And that is the frustrating part here. I don't think David Sachs has really done too much for the crypto space. Let's let's understand this really quickly. He's been in that job as the crypto and AI czar since January, right? Or right after Trump got put in. Okay. We still don't know how much crypto the US actually has. We don't know how much Bitcoin. We don't know how much XRP or ADA or any of this stuff, right? What has he been doing for 10 months, right? It's November. It's about to be December in a few weeks. What has he done? I'm seriously asking, like, what has he done to push this forward outside of Bitcoin? He really hasn't. He gets together with his like 3 friends and they do a stream and they talk about how great Bitcoin is, but that's it. I think Trump needs to reassess the people around him, and they need to stop being so Bitcoin heavy, because it's really not going to do much for average Americans. But like, imagine if the Trump administration made a deal with Ripple for 5 billion escrowed XRP, and they gave everybody a certain amount or something like there are ways that you could use the technology, not just to help people, but also to create a better payment system for the United States. And you're not going to do that with Bitcoin. So like, I don't know, man. It gets frustrating when these people just push the same narrative, man. It's like the same money hungry people who want to make even more money on Bitcoin are just now pumping money into these people to push Trump to do something for Bitcoin and not for the rest of the crypto space. When you have Charles Hodgkinson pointing that stuff out, you know, it's probably true, right? It's probably true. All right. And so there's going to be a lot of news out of this event here. An honor to host Singapore's Deputy Prime Minister, Gam Kin Young, and the Monetary Authority of Singapore Managing Director, Shia Darjian, at the Ripple booth to learn about the business and customers in traction in the APAC. So you have the president of Ripple out here shaking hands with some of the I mean, this is the Deputy Prime Minister in Singapore and basically the managing director of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, right? If there's any people that are in charge, right, it's these people. So interesting. Man, everyone's looking, right? These guys are looking, this guy's looking, huh? Oh man. I thought this was impactful. Check this out. This is about Solana. Let me play this for you guys.
Here in person.
Good to see you as well.
Okay, so what's going on here? This is a big deal.
Yeah, this morning,
big deal for you.
It is a very big deal. It's a big day and a big milestone. Reverses the course of time.
It does.
We've wanted to be a one-stop shop for all your financial services needs, and one of the holes we've had for the last 2 years was in cryptocurrency, the ability to buy, sell, and hold crypto. We were not allowed to do that as a bank. It was not permissible. But in March of this year, the OCC came out with an interpretive letter that it's now permissible for banks like SoFi to offer cryptocurrencies. So this morning we're launching as the only national bank, the first and only national bank, the opportunity to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana.
So I was going to ask, are we just talking about 3 for now?
We'll expand well beyond 3. It'll be a pretty broad assortment. We try to differentiate on being fast, having broad selection, great prices, ease of use. So we'll try to give members, SoFi members, as much selection as they would like.
And what's the difference between going through you and going through Coinbase or going through Robinhood or somebody else?
Yeah, there's a couple of really big differences. First, we're a nationally chartered bank, which means we have the infrastructure, the processes, the financial conditions that provides the safeguards that a consumer would expect from a bank, which is going to allow us to scale responsibly. The second thing is because we are a one-stop shop, you can do all your banking, checking and savings at SoFi, your borrowing and your investing, and now crypto. And one of the unique things about that is when you come to SoFi and fund your crypto investments, you'll fund them in a SoFi checking and savings account. That checking and savings account's deposits earn interest.
Say that again. You're going to fund it with crypto?
You're going to fund
your checking account.
You're going to fund your checking account with cash.
Okay.
And then when you buy Bitcoin or Solana or Ethereum, the money will come straight out of your checking and savings account. So when you're not putting cash to work, it's not sitting in an account that earns no interest, and it's not sitting in an account that's not insured. So the money will sit in an FDIC insured account. Up to $2 million is what we offer. And when you buy, it will instantly withdraw from that account and send it to the marketplace.
See, what you're witnessing here, guys, is the infrastructure being set up to allow crypto to go from the traditional system and of course like to be integrated into the traditional system. And you need these on and off ramps to make it all happen. And the ease of access people are starting to have to be able to buy crypto is going to be extremely important, right? Like what I'm looking for is how are they going to make it easier for people to store and custody, keep their assets safe, and like when are we going to get rid of the seed phrases of the world to a more kind of 21st century system, right? Keeping 24 random seed words on a piece of paper is probably not the future of blockchain custody. So what does that transition look like? I'm going to be looking forward to seeing that. You guys are having way too much fun in the chat, huh? You guys are wild. So when Trump said this, though, yeah, he never mentioned it again. The reason he didn't mention it again is because they did follow up. Like I did see a question asked, and I think like he just said that like he was mentioning the top 3 or 4 assets. Like I at the time, it didn't feel to me that Trump like understood the use case around XRP. And I mean, like, there's people that own XRP for a year that don't understand it, right? There's a lot to know, right? I don't know. Like you would imagine that if he kind of understood everything that was happening, that there would be some type of real kind of like, since the Republicans controlled the House, the Senate, and the presidency, they could probably put a bill together that allows taxpayer money to buy some of these assets, right? If the goal was to buy these assets for our future generations to pay down debt, they have the control that they need to do that. Why haven't they done that? That's probably another question on itself, right? Like, is it A, they don't have an actual plan? Is it B, they don't really think that crypto is the future? Like I don't know, man. Like I can't think of a really good answer for this, right? Because anytime they want to put a bill forward, like when they put the tax thing, the big beautiful bill, they really wanted to get that through. They got it through, right? So what else are they working on? Like, why haven't we seen anything around crypto go through the House or the Senate that involves putting actual assets into American innovation or even Bitcoin? You just haven't seen any like real bills making their way through it. I don't know, man. It's kind of strange. Kind of strange if you ask me. Yeah, ADHD, I can do 10x more at once. Yeah. You can get overwhelmed real quick. Oh, I do criticize both sides, guys. I do criticize both sides. I'm not trying to pick on one side or the other. Sorry. How do you talk about this stuff without like, it's impossible, I guess. Like we played this clip, right, of Charles Hodgkinson talking about like what was going on with the White House and their lack of, actually, it sounds like David Sachs is personally taking out frustrations out on Charles Hodgkinson and other crypto leaders. Like that's where the discussion came from. So all good. Let's just move on. All right. So here is, God, what's this guy's name? BlackRock. See, now I'm thinking about something else. Somebody help me with his name, please. I can't remember this guy's name. And my mind has just gone blank now thinking about this. Let me just play this.
It's hard to imagine a world where not even stable coins have significant
Robbie Mitchnick. There it is.
adoption, because already today it's 300 billion in market cap, right? And that's in a pretty high interest rate environment, which is remarkable, right? So the stable coin value proposition, this ability to move money around the world in near real time at near zero cost, between any two people with a smartphone to get access the world over to digital US dollars, which many billions of people around the world have shown a clear desire to be able to have that access. That horse has left the barn. And it's just a question of how fast and how broadly adopted across other domains do stablecoins get, whether we're talking about, retail remittances, which are massively inefficient today, cross-border payments for corporate multinationals, which have, lots of frictions and costs associated with them, and maybe more ambitiously, financial market settlement activities. So subscribing and redeeming from funds in stablecoins, settling trades in stablecoins, processing corporate actions, margin and collateral in stablecoins. So lots of pretty exciting applications for it. That I think is the bear. If that's the bear case for tokenization, it's actually not that bad. It's hard to imagine.
All right. I want to play this here too. Scott Bessent on Fox News. Let me just play it.
That's the most financially responsible thing to do?
Well, there are a lot of options here. That the president's talking about a $2,000 rebate, and that would be for families making less than say $100,000.
Have you decided on that yet?
We haven't. It's in discussion. But the other thing to think about, Brian, is that what we did with the tax bill is actually financing the president's no tax and tips over time. So security and the big refunds you're going to see are a result of that. So that's another payment to the American people. And then the other thing you're going to see in the middle of the year are these Trump accounts. Every child born retroactively to January 1, but for the next 3 years, is going to get a $1,000 account that's going to be invested in the U.S. stock market. So that's another $1,000 for working families.
So yesterday, did that?
Yep, that'll be interesting. Doesn't really feel like there's a plan there, does it? I don't know. XRP ledger isn't ready. Look at amendments. I think there's still a lot to be done. The winter bee. There's still a lot to be done. All right, guys, got any more questions here? If not, I'm gonna probably jump off for the day. I've got a lot to do tomorrow and Thursday, preparing for all this ETF stuff and buzz and news and information like that. Any final comments, questions, concerns? All right, guys, we'll leave it at there then. I appreciate everybody that showed up, everyone who left a donation, everybody that asked a question, everyone that just participated in chat. We got Tom $5, Curtis $2, OSOK for 10, AK Scarface $19.99, and Tom again for $5, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ariana. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, OSOK, and everybody else that participated today. I'll see you guys next time. All right, aloha.